Hey again. So I wanted to expound upon my video talking about how SE is experienced by INTPs and perhaps INFPs as well. That is vulnerable SE, of course. And I used Donald Trump and Michael Scott as two examples of SE DOMs, and I wanted to make it 100% crystal clear that I'm explaining what INTPs are not using those examples. I'm not trying to explain what SE DOMs are. Nobody accused me of that or anything like that, but I wanted to make that very clear because the reason that I use Donald Trump as an ESTP so much is because his SE traits are so extreme and manifest in the most rudimentary ways that, or I guess I wouldn't say rudimentary, but I would say the most obvious ways that whenever I can use him as an example, it makes SE, the essence of SE, really accessible to me because I can feel it. It's plain, it's obvious, it's very tangible, it's an easy go-to example, but I want to make it very clear that no ESTP I know is anything like Donald Trump except for in the very strict SETI ways, except for in the very strict function-related ways. But as far as like narcissism and maturity, they're literally nothing like Donald Trump. And that goes for ESFPs and Michael Scott as well. I can't make that clear enough. I just don't want anyone to think I'm biased toward SE DOMs or anything like that. But I also wanted to make it more clear that I might have implied that INTPs have a really good awareness of personal space, and that's not really what I meant. What I meant was not that INTPs have a good awareness of personal space, but that once they realize that they're about to have to deal with something that has to do with gauging personal space, that they get really stressed out. That's definitely an SE skill. Gauging personal space is an SE skill. SE users, whenever they get in someone's space, it's not because they aren't aware of the person's personal space. It's because they are using an intrusion on their personal space for their advantage. Or they're using some way that they're positioning themselves in relation to that person's personal space to their advantage. They're very aware of that person's personal space even when they decide to intrude upon it. INTPs are not as aware of people's personal space, but then for the example that I use where I'm a server and I have to often reach across people to grab things, that makes me realize, okay, I'm about to have to deal with something that puts me in a position to have to gauge someone else's personal space, and that is something I am so bad at, and it's something I don't like to do, and it's something I'm not comfortable with. So it's not me being hyper aware of people's personal spaces, it's knowing that I'm not aware of people's personal space at all and not knowing how to position myself in the environment accordingly. So just wanted to make that very clear. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. And it's also, someone said that by my definition of SE, I would be an SE user because I was trying to control the space around me, and that's not the case. It's for example, as a server, I have to pick up plates off of people's table. I have to put down plates on people's table. I have no choice in that. If it were up to me, somebody else would do all of that stuff, and I would just have to talk to the table. Excuse me. I would just have to talk to the table and get their order and all that. But it's the realization that I'm about to have to deal with the space around me in a very precise way that stresses me out and makes me just kind of tense up. It's not that I want to control the space around me. It's not that I want to control my own personal space or the personal space of others. It's that I realize I'm going to have to make some decisions based on personal space. And that is a weakness given that I have path of least resistance, SE. So I wanted to clear out those things, make those distinctions. I hope that makes sense. Comment, tell me if that makes sense or whatever, because I really want to hear some feedback on that. I'm always open to all kinds of feedback as long as it's 100% respectful. I do reserve the right, obviously, to vehemently disagree, but feedback is 100% welcome. So that's all that I have to say. So peace out and have a good day.